friends, guests, and adventurers of all ages. Tonight's show is for the brave, the fearless, and the dangerously curious. Witness feats of strength, daring acrobatics, and mystifying magic. Get ready to have the most astounding night of your life. Welcome to the Circus of Wayward Wonders. Welcome to Roll for Combat, Three-Ring Adventure.
Hey everyone, welcome to Roll for Combat, Three-Ring Adventure. I'm your GM and host Stephen Glicker, and in this week's episode, our heroes continue their magnificent circus performance, and we find out if they succeed or fail this week. So those of you new to Roll for Combat, welcome. What I normally do is I usually do a little intro before each show, and I talk about, well, anything really. I can talk about the podcast, I can talk about the adventure, I can give you GM tips, PC tips, you name it. For the Dead Sons podcast, I would actually do an intro and an outro, and then for Plaguestone, I would just do an intro. For Three-Ring Adventure, I'm thinking I'm just going to do an intro. You know, once in a while I might do an outro. But also, if there's anything you specifically want me to talk about, feel free to ask me on our Discord channel at discord.rollforcombat.com, and I will bring it up and talk about it on this very show. So one thing I'm going to talk about this week is the circus mechanic. So, one thing you should know about Paizo is they usually put new mechanics in their adventure paths. In the past, they've done things like kingdom building or mass combat rules and so forth. And in this case, well, they have circus rules. And the circus rules, well, they are mechanical. Again, this is a game. You have to have some statistics and numbers to hit. But, you know, as you can hear, we're also making it very fun, very theatrical, giving an overview of, like, you know, we could be sitting here just rolling dice and just saying, okay, succeed or fail. But we're trying to play it up. And I'm actually giving them bonuses by going into character and explaining in detail what their acts do. As for how this actually works, well, there's a few things. First of all, if you want to see the spreadsheet that has everything laid out for this circus, go to our Discord channel and we will post it. Vanessa Hoskins made this amazing spreadsheet in Google Sheets where you can see everything outlined. You can use it for your own adventure if you're doing Extinction Curse. More importantly, you can actually follow along if you want to see it. There might be some spoilers because we're going to show the entire sheet, but you can see it after. But all you really need to know is there's two numbers. There's anticipation, which is the number they're trying to hit, and there's excitement. Anticipation is how much they're expecting the show to be awesome. And in this case, the number started at 15 and can go all the way up to 20. There is a limit to anticipation, so it can't go above 20. So every single time an act puts on a successful performance, they can get 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 excitement. And they want to build the excitement and actually want to make it match the anticipation. If you go too low, then you don't generate enough excitement and the show's kind of seen as a failure. If you go above, the show is seen as a success. But if you manage to make excitement match anticipation perfectly, the show is seen as a perfect success and you get a gigantic payout. Now, why does this matter? Well, you get gold at the end, you being the characters, but they can't use the gold for themselves. The gold is just being used to upgrade the circus. Now, how this is going to work over time, I'm not exactly sure. We'll see, but the mechanic seems to be pretty solid. There's also ways to increase and decrease the excitement through side gigs, or as you saw last week when the Featherfall 5 did their performance without a net, instead of generating 1 excitement, I believe it was generating 3 excitement. And that is significant, because if it wasn't for that, statistically, it would have been impossible for them to get the anticipation of a 20. And that's something you have to keep track of when you're doing these circuses, is that there actually might not be enough acts to perform to get the anticipation, so you're going to have to go out on a limb and do something super dangerous. And by doing things extra dangerous or doing things that are difficult to do in the circumstance, like for example, maybe there's a windstorm going on when the circus is going on, and people who do acrobatics or athletics checks get extra excitement because of that. And that's something you have to manage. So every circus is going to be a little different, and you have to kind of think on the fly. You can't just throw the same acts out, circus after circus, assuming you're going to do well. You have to mix it up. And something else is, there are chances that these acts, when they fail, they're injured, and then they can't perform. So it's always going to be a little bit different every single time we put on a new circus. You're going to have different acts, you're going to have different successes, different things they're going to have to overcome, and so forth. So that's the gist of it. That's how the circus works. We didn't have to do it exactly as written. We could have just rolled dice and called it a day, or there's ways to abstract it, and the rules, they sort of tell you how to do that if you really want to. But at Roll for Combat, we like to play by the rules for lots of reasons. One, we enjoy it, and two, we see it as a benefit for anyone who's running this adventure that you can use us as an example. So once again, thanks for listening. And if you want to listen to the show early, just become a $5 patron at patreon.rollforcombat.com. You get the show a minimum of a week early. And if you want to listen to us live, just become a $10 patron. And you too can listen to the show live. And let me tell you, not just this show, but Tales from the Black Lodge and anything else we do. And you are missing out a lot if you're not listening to the show live. And then finally, do make sure to check out the Roll for Combat RPG Superstar contest, which is launching this week. Just go to rpgsuperstar.com. We got insane numbers of prizes, over 100 winners, over 20 grand worth of prizes. It's going to be madness, I tell you, madness. So check that out. Anyhow, with that, let's get to this week's episode. Last we left off, you began your illustrious circus career in the town of Aberton. You're about to put on your first main performance. But right before the show was to begin, the ringmaster was found dead. Dead. Everyone was panicking. People didn't know what to do. There was pandemonium. And the professor called over the heroes and said, the show must go on. You must organize the show. You must organize the acts and help put the show on. And sure enough, you did. But the show was not easy to put on. You had to deal with stage fright, stampeding animals, gnawed nets, and Lord knows what else that's going to happen. As of now, we are up to the grand finale, where there is going to be 3 acts that must go on simultaneously. Right now, you have an excitement of 16 with an anticipation of 20 to get the full payout. And to have a successful first night, you must have your excitement reach at least the anticipation, which is 20. Will you be able to do it? We will find out shortly. So, last we left off, the Featherfall 5 was ready to go. And not just ready to go, but they actually performed. And they did an amazing job because they did their act without a net. Next up, the Flamboni sisters. And our own little Hap was going to go. Otteron is waiting in the wings, ready to help out Hap, make her pyrotechnics that much better. Meanwhile, while the Featherfall 5 is going out, Darius notices, way off in the distance, a fight has broken out in the stands. Other audience members are scattering. What do you do?
Oh, we got this. Come on, brother.
Vanessa Hoskins is playing Alhara Varys, the amazingly agile Alhara, a half-elf gymnast swashbuckler.
I look at Alhara, and I tilt my head towards it. After you.
Rob Termarco is playing Darius Varys, Darius's daring destructions, a half-elf monk of the mountain style.
Race you there, and Alhara takes off.
We run. Where's the fight?
Way north in the stands, in the middle of the stands, in the northeast bleachers, you notice looks like a female and male human that are drunk, making a commotion, and are tackled and fighting some other audience members while laughing uproariously. What do you do?
Let's intervene and separate them.
But let's try to make it look like part of the show, or at least entertain the crowd that's a little upset.
Like coming through, like, do you want to sit on my shoulder? I'll walk us up there, like be a spectacle so they're distracted.
Sure.
So Alhara jumps on my shoulder, either standing or with one leg up, like your signature stance.
Yeah.
And I'll walk us up there. Oh, what seems to be the problem? Do you need special entertainment here? Here we are, the Varyses.
Looks like you two want to have a bit of a workout, huh?
The two brawlers are just sort of right now tackling and bear hugging some of the audience members. Some of the others are desperately trying to get out of the way. And they're like both entertained and yet horrified. Help us, help us. These are drunkards. They're ruining the show. They're ruining the down in front. We can't see. Everyone get out of the way.
Looks like we need to get their attention. Alhara wants to leap off of her brother's shoulders, do like a somersault in the air, and land right next to the lady.
Okay. Give me, I guess, acrobatics?
Athletics for a jump or acrobatics to make it splashy?
Whichever you prefer.
Oh, I prefer athletics for this particular case. Ooh, didn't roll great. Rolled a 5 for an 11.
Yeah, 11. Ooh, that's actually really bad. You try
It's
to...
a 5!
I know, it is bad. You jump and try to land next to her. Instead, you sort of tumble into one of the townsfolk.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, haha! And then you're like, woohoo! Whoops! And then you like slip. And I won't say you completely fall as you have circus training, but you slightly misjudge and land next to the woman brawler. But at the same time, you also land on some poor audience member who was already on the ground. So I will say you won't do any damage, but you have to sort of watch your footing.
Okay.
And the brawlers look at you and say, "Oh, big man, big woman, finally some challenge."
Roll for combat!
Big? That's not very appropriate. May I use athletics for my initiative?
You actually did.
Yeah.
You did, and you're way at the top, but they rolled a 24 and a 22 for their initiative. So they're like way above you guys.
And it's only a +1, but it lets me start with panache.
Okay, fine. You can start with panache. So Jolene, who is the male drunkard who's looking at you, he's also rather large. I mean, he's not nearly as large as Darius, of course, but he's pretty big. He's pretty big. And,
did you say his name is Jolene?
Lauren Sake is playing Hap, the Starlight Sparrow, a human fire elementalist sorcerer.
Jolene.
Jolene.
Is he here to steal my man?
Jolene.
What was that? They didn't hear any of that.
I was just singing Jolene, but with Jolene.
Dolly Parton song.
Okay.
He's here to steal my man.
Okay. Well, I don't know which one's the male and which one's the female, so I'm going to say Jolene is the man and Rovo is the female.
I like it.
So Jolene is up first, and Jolene goes into a drunken rage. He puts his arms at her. He's like, "Come here, big man."
Let's dance, drunkard. You're going to get a spanking because you're being naughty.
He pushes this poor townsfolk out of the way who's like tumbling down out of the ground. And he's like, "Oh, help me." And then he tries to punch you in the face.
He'll definitely do that.
Oh, he
Oh,
misses with a 4. Now, he's not trying to hit you with lethal damage, by the way. He was just trying to hit
That's
you
fine.
kind of like an open slap. Rovo is up next. She also goes into a drunken rage. And she's like, "Pretty girl, fall down. Let me help you up by your hair." And she will also try to slap poor Alara with her open fist.
hey, that
Oh, actually, she rolls a 1, so that is
Woohoo!
fumble
a
sound.
critical miss. So she completely misses you whatsoever.
They are very drunk.
They are very drunk.
They are very, very, very drunk. But then for the second attack,
Ooh.
actually hits you for 7 points of bludgeoning, non-lethal damage. But the first one completely misses as she's like drunk and just sort of like lunges past you. But then the second one, with the backhand, she like slaps you across the face. Again, non-lethal damage.
Oh, I got a little bit of my lip there. Huh.
And then for the third attack, like totally misses, even though she rolls a 17, but she has a +0 for that.
Yeah, I got that good armor class.
Lara is up. So what do? As you just got slapped in the face and it stings quite a bit.
Oh, shadow boxing, huh? Well, let's see how I can do at that. First thing she's going to do is try and do sort of a somersault up onto the level that this lady's on by going like right next to her and then sort of doing a flip over her. So I'm going to do a tumble through using acrobatics.
Where are you trying to go? This is a bleacher, so trying to go up a bleacher tumbling through is going to be extremely hard.
I mean, if you're going to be a little penalty, okay, but I'm going to give it a shot. If I fail, then I fail, but we'll still try it.
All right.
I got a total of 16.
What is that, athletics?
That's acrobatics. And tumble through is versus their reflex DC.
I'll say you barely managed to get through her. Barely.
Whew, well, good enough for me. So I'll move myself up next to her there. So I go through her space and over adjacent to her, and then I'm going to spin around and give her a nice little roundhouse kick, non-lethal damage, of course, for a confident finish.
Since you're playing a swashbuckler, what does that do? Since this class is new to everyone, including me.
Yeah. So for the current incarnation of the swashbuckler, when you have panache, you can do moves called finishers that have the finish trait. This one, the one that you start with, is called confident finish. Confident finish, even if you miss, you do a little bit of damage, but otherwise you can do a whopping amount of damage with finishers because of this thing called, I think it's precise strike. Let me look that up.
So I have it that in your character, that's actually lethal attacks. So you're actually going to get a +2 to that attack since you're using non-lethal. I always assumed you'd be using lethal damage, but of course the very first attack's non-lethal. So you actually crit and do...
Oh gosh.
Hey.
24 points of damage.
Yeah.
Still standing.
24 points of damage and she's still standing?
Yep. She's just sort of like, oh, she just sort of smiles. If you like tumble through and just like smack her straight in the face. And
Wow.
She just looks at you and just like spits out like a tooth and's like, not bad, not bad. You done?
No, with my final action, since she's still standing, Alhara is going to raise her staff. It's an interaction. It's a single action with the interact trait on a parry weapon, and she basically sets up a parry with her quarterstaff.
All right, I guess we'll find out what that does. Darius is up. He just saw that and he's like, holy moly, these drunkards are strong.
Yeah. I would like to enter the mountain stance, but it says I have to be touching the ground. Does that mean actual dirt or just not flying?
I think it's actual dirt. I will say just the one time this probably would not work is like you're inside.
It's on bleachers.
You're on the
Okay.
You're on bleachers. I'm going to say it's uneven. You need the dirt. You need the ground, the earth underneath your feet.
Yeah. All right.
To fully go into the mountain stance. So not right here.
What I would like to do, talk to me about grappling and pinning. Like I want to grapple him and then carry him away, you know?
Grapple is just an athletics check against a fortitude DC. And I believe it's grapple to grapple him, and then you can, he's restrained.
Yeah, so if you succeed, your opponent is grabbed until the end of your next turn unless you move or your opponent escapes. For the critical success, your opponent is restrained until the end of your next turn until you move or escapes. So with the critical success, you can restrain them, which is sort of like pin.
Yeah, I would like to make them helpless or pinned so I can move them around.
The only way to move them that I'm aware of is to shove them, which is also athletics.
So
yeah, shove is where you try to push him away, and it's you would push him away from you. That's the other thing. You're south of him, so you kind of want to push him like you're in the wrong way, like you're below where he wants to go. Right.
I would love to pick him up and carry him off the bleachers, but if I can't do that, I'll incapacitate him first.
You
know,
I know what you're trying to do, but I want to think about how to do this.
But if I grapple him and then walk, I lose the grapple, right? I can't reposition or drag.
Essentially.
Yeah, there's feats and skills specifically designed to let you kind of do this or what you're trying to do. And
Right.
at the lower levels, it's not that you can't do it. It's that, I'll put it this way, if you grab him, it's sort of, I don't want to break the system this early. So I would
Okay.
I just say if you want to shove him, because if you shove, you can move after.
Yeah,
So
you move with him.
Right, you can move with him. So the shove will pretty much do what you want because you can just push him 3 times in a row and just keep pushing him off the stage. And that will pretty much do the same thing.
But I have to be behind him to do that, right?
Don't telegraph my next move.
Or you can push him off the stage, off the bleachers, and he'll take falling damage. So you can do that if you want. I mean, it's kind of nasty, but you can
No,
do
I
it.
wouldn't like off the edge onto the ground where the rings are. No. If I can't carry him away, I'll just knock him out and then comically carry him away later. So let's do this.
Yeah, I'll say you'll be able to do that. Yeah, I mean, you can
Yeah.
just punch him and
Yeah, I will just punch him a couple times. I'm not going to flurry your blows yet.
Are you using the regular fist or the non-lethal?
Regular. Oh wait, there's a non-lethal choice.
I can use this as non-lethal. I just add.
I
2
didn't
to
see
your
an
attack.
option. Hold on, let me escape.
There
the
is
check.
like one. No, it's okay. I'll just do it because there's a good reason why.
Yeah, I don't see any non-lethal choice.
All right. Well, you hit him for a crit, and you do 16 points of non-lethal damage. So you sort of
Boom.
punch him in the face, and his nose is bleeding, and he's like, "Oh."
Nice hit, brother.
I'm just laughing. Yo, you can't be too much of a roustabout in these crowds. While we're around, I'm gonna hit him again.
This is part of your flurry, right?
I have not flurried.
That was a critical miss. You rolled a 1. Wah, wah.
Yep, of course. That's fine.
Roll a 12 for an 11, but you miss this time.
Yeah.
So you hit him once really squarely in the face, and he's bleeding a little, and he's just sort of licking the blood. Meanwhile, the crowd is loving it. The crowd is like, they actually are enjoying it because it looks like slapstick comedy to them, and you guys are kind of playing it up. So far, so good. The crowd isn't like taking this too badly.
Yes,
And-
smiles for everyone, and we're laughing and high-fiving each other, Horror and I, as we beat these people
Mhm.
up.
Of course, Ahala is a little bit up the bleachers from you, so she high fives you at the end of her staff. But
Yes, if I can reach, maybe a little.
poor peasant between us is ducking. Oh gosh!
He sort of just smiles as the blood is like going down. Like you punch him right in the nose, and he's just bleeding. He's sort of licking the blood, and he's like, strong man. Let's see how strong you truly are. And then he also takes a big swing right at you. A 2.
Yeah.
You're rolling like me tonight.
No, I'm not rolling that poorly. I mean, that's
That's true.
That's like terrible. All right, he tries to do another swing at your head and misses again comically. And this time he's like rages. He's like, "Roar!" And he tries to kick you solidly in the chest. You rolled a 2, a 1, and a 4. It's like Lauren's rolling.
Yep. Now you're playing with my dice.
Darius does that thing where he puts his hand on his head and lets him swing and miss and all that, and he's like yawning and with his other hand,
So next up we have Rohovo. Rohovo? So describe to me what this defense thing does.
Sure. So when you spend an action with the interact trait with a parrying weapon, you set up a parry, and that gives you a +1 circumstance bonus to your armor class till the beginning of your next turn.
Excellent. She sees you parrying, so instead she's just going to push you and shove you backwards.
Oh no!
So she will do an athletics check. She rolls a 10 because she has a +7, but a 10 does not do it. Well, she rolls a 3. For
She
a total of
fails.
10.
She almost critically fails.
Well, all she does is fail, so she does not critically fail. So there.
But it would have been so funny.
Maybe
It
if she
would've been
tries
fun.
again, she can critically fail.
Maybe
Yeah, try
the
again.
peanut gallery should not give me suggestions.
Oh.
Maybe she's gonna punch you in the face this time after she's like all like seeing stars after getting hit so hard in the head that she decides, I'll just push you over.
We should sell peanuts at the next circus.
Rob Pontius is playing Otteron, Uncanny Otteron's cauldron of curious concoctions, a human witch of curses.
Absolutely.
hmm
And rolls a 10, missing again. She's just like, ugh, ugh. And she's like slapping her face, trying to like clear the cobwebs. And then this time she takes her time and she lets out a large roar and she tries to punch you square in the jaw and misses again. And now Alara is up with her defense stance all ready to go.
Yep. So at the beginning of my turn, that drops. But I have all 3 actions left to do some cool stuff. So Alhara sort of laughs at Rovo and says, "Oh, so you wanted to get a little exercise in, huh? Well, in that case, maybe we should go outside." And she is going to try and shove her back. She gives her a big, like, push-type kick to the chest. All right. I rolled a 12 for an 18 total.
And that's against her Fortitude AC.
It is against her Fortitude DC. That is correct.
Was that a kick or a punch?
She's kicking because I'm holding my staff with 2 hands. So she just sort of lifts up a foot and tries to push back.
You kick her squarely in the chest, and your foot bounces off her chest, and she's still standing and laughing at you. And says, "Ho, ho, 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 ho. Good try, little girl."
Oh, you're a stout one, aren't you? I am going to... I really want to push her off of here. Alright. I am... You know what? We're just going to kick her, I guess. I'm going to sort of just wave at her and then all of a sudden try to just like kick her right in the shin.
A 2.
Oof.
You guys are missing left and right. This is... The crowd likes it because it's all this like pantomime. Everyone's like missing. It's like swing, miss, swing, miss, swing, miss. It's like, what is going on? It's like a clown act up here. I think a couple of people, they're all sitting down. They're starting to relax. They think it's part of the show.
Alright. Last action. Raising my staff again. Let's parry.
Darius?
All right, let's give him a show here in the bleachers. Let's do a flurry of blows.
Can you do that non-lethal? Or are you doing that lethal?
Can I? I'm Mr. Non-lethal. Lethal or non-lethal. That's my choice. I do what I want. Okay, so flurry of blows is basically... Oh, I got 2 hits, right?
Right.
And the second hit count as at my regular -4, right?
Apply your attack penalty to the strikes as normal as the flourish trait.
Yeah, it should be +7/+3, but it just takes up 1 action, not 2 actions, and they are added together.
Yeah, but that's just something
DR
you do
stuff.
mentally. Yeah, we just do that
Yeah,
mentally. So.
Yeah, I'll just drag over the regular fist stuff.
Is it agile?
My monk strikes, I believe, are.
And strikes are agile.
The mountain ones might not be, but the regular ones are.
Well, he's not in mountain stance, though.
That's right.
All right, here we go. Strike number 1. Uppercut to the chin.
Woo!
Natural 20. All right, he drops.
Unconscious.
He drops. He's unconscious. You knocked him out. KO.
Then I want to pick him up, pick up his unconscious form, and put him on my shoulder, like butt towards the audience, and say, "That's a naughty, naughty audience member." Whack on his butt.
The crowd loves it. And they start hitting his butt too. They're like, "Yeah, yeah!"
Everyone get a free butt slap.
Everyone gets a free butt slap on the bad guy.
Butt slaps for everyone.
Okay, that will be the rest of your turn, picking
Yes.
them up and slapping the butts. Rovo goes, and she's like, "No! Don't take him away! Stop slapping his butt!"
Go ahead, run after him.
She looks at you and is like, "You don't tell me what to do!"
No, I think the drink does that for both of us.
She slapped you in the face, fist girl.
Oof.
Hit you for 5 points of non-lethal damage. Oh no, this might not be good.
What was your total?
25. She rolled
whew. Yeah, that'll hit.
She hits you, and then the second one critically misses, And then the third one, she tries to hit you and misses. So she hit you once. I thought it was a crit, but I guess it's not.
25 is not a crit. My AC is currently 19.
No, I know, but I thought I actually rolled a 20. Oh no, that was Darius who rolled a 20. I'm all messed up. Alara is up. You're bleedy. You're bleedy as you're all non-lethally, but you're still standing.
You've got a lot in you. But can you do this? And I'm going to try to shove her one more time. Oh my goodness. 16.
You try to shove her, and once again, you bounce off of her, and she just laughs and laughs and laughs. You can keep trying, but I ain't going anywhere. And now you're trying to shove her. You're really trying to shove her off the palisade.
I just thought it would be so funny, but she's too tough. So I'm just going to slap her in the face open-handed.
All right, you slap her in the face open-handed. Like, you keep trying to do something fancy, and then you're just like, all right, fine. You just slap her, and she goes down.
And just get fed up with it.
She's like, all right, enough. All right, so they are dispatched. The drunkards are both down. Alara's kind of beat up. I mean, you're still standing, but you actually did.
I'll take care of her and with my battle medicine when we take them out of here.
Oh, I'm really glad our act is already over. She sort of cracks her jaw.
She was a tough one.
No kidding. Did you see her stance? You could take some hints.
I know.
So the crowd enjoys the show, although some of them weren't so thrilled because they actually were beat up, and they know that wasn't part of the show. Like, some of the people further away think this is some show, but these people nearby, they're all glad that you took care of them, but they're not thrilled about that. Anyhow, back with the show. While you dispatch these drunkards, the Featherfall 5 finishes up their act, which means it is now Hap's turn. Is that correct? Who's going next? I forgot. Is it Hap?
Next.
Or the sisters?
The Flambonis are next.
Yep, the Flamboni sisters for the trick number 6 in the Act 4 finale.
Bony sisters. Okay. They're level 1. Trick DC is 15. Who wants to play the Flamboni sisters?
Rob P?
Sisters. They are fire injury team. See feats of juggling from these two brave sisters. Can they juggle fire? Will they set themselves on fire? Find out tonight.
Does Atron's pyrotechnics go to them too, since they also have the fire trait?
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
Nice.
Sure, I can take them on.
They have deception of 7 and a fortitude save of 7, which you're going to need if they accidentally set themselves on fire.
Yeah. Deception, huh? For juggling fire.
Probably to make it look harder than it is.
Okay. Want me to roll and then describe?
Whatever you want. Let's see. I'm just looking them up. I'm just looking up all their traits. So their traits are fire, which is intimidation, but they don't need that. They're using, normally it's intimidation, but they have team, which is, let's see, that requires more than one person. So there's 2 of them. And then injury, which means that, let's see, if an NPC performs the check and then critically fails any check, they have a ability of being injured and might not perform for up to 2 more weeks. So you can roll and then describe using deception of +7.
I'll do the deception.
Okay. 27. That is a critical. Is that a critical? Yeah, that's a critical success.
Yep,
Sure is.
Nice.
So what do you get with your addition pyrotechnics?
Normally that would make it do double excitement.
Not quite. So
Right.
on the circus tricks, when you get a critical success, what it does is also adds 1 anticipation. So theoretically, our anticipation would raise. However, we are already at maximum anticipation of 20.
That is correct. So
Oh, sorry.
you
I
get-
meant the pyrotechnics.
Yeah, so you get a +1. Well, you get a critical success, which will normally give you a +1 anticipation and +1 excitement. But you already at the max anticipation of 20. But then being the non-performer role of pyrotechnics, trick checks with the fire generate double excitement. So you get +2 excitement instead. And now you are up to 18.
Out of 20.
Do you want to describe your trick?
Yeah. So the Flamboni sisters start out walking around the three rings and then meet towards the center as they start tossing up the flaming torches around them and then catching them from the other sister, even though they can't see them directly as they're back to back. And they go at a kind of whirlwind pace. But what people don't realize is there's actually slightly reflective materials that's on the torches that lets them see them when they're coming from the other side. So as they start moving quickly and tossing them between each other, they can actually predict a little better, making it only seem like they're anticipating them. They are actually seeing them.
So you have 2 more attempts. Now, you can try to get perfect anticipation, which will get you extra gold at the end of this performance, or you can get above. It'll be up to you. Decide if you want to try to
Nope.
more.
I think we'll leave it
excitement.
to Hap.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So you're just going to skip the next 2 actions? You're going to go out while you're ahead?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, boy. So for the next 2, they just sort of dance around.
Yep. They continue with the same juggling fire, and then they retreat to let Hap have the stage.
Okay, Hap. It's all up to you.
No pressure.
Help me figure out something real quick for a minute, because I forgot in a detail. I'm trying to remember what it is. My intimidation is +7. With blood magic, it'll go up to +8. But I remember I had another bonus that made it +9, and for the life of me, I
Yes.
can't remember what it was.
If you use a fire trait trick with the intimidation skill as your trick skill, then you get a +1.
Oh, okay. Is that just in the fire trait?
Yes. Yep.
Correct.
Okay, I looked at the circus rules handout that we have, and I missed that. I couldn't find it. Okay. All right. If you're ready for me, let's do this.
I'm ready.
Okay. So Hap is standing in the ring. She walks up casually to the center of it, and she kind of stands there. She looks like she might have stage fright a little bit. She's kind of nervous. She kind of looks around. And then just before the first audience member has a chance to look over and ask their friend if this is part of the act, her left foot juts out in front of her and then swirls around to the left as she shifts all her weight to the right as part of an interpretive dance that looks both mystical and intriguing. She quickly does a fast spin, puts a hand on the ground to the left, spins around again to the right, and continues with her methodical dance. Finally, she thrusts an arm to the left, and a flamethrower-like gout of fire just erupts out towards the sky. With another spin to the right, another gout of flame. Finally, she puts her hands together, kind of swirls them like she's forming an orb, and a little ball of fire forms into her hand. She throws it towards the bleachers on the right side, and right before it hits the audience, it turns into a little bird, which flies over all of the crowd's head so that they can feel the warmth of this small flaming sparrow. And as it soars over all of their heads from right to left and back towards Hap, this is where I'd like to make my first check.
Oh, I missed all that. Can you repeat that?
I cannot.
You
I'm
just-
just.
Such a shit.
I'm so
I'm
evil.
su-
That was so great.
I'm sure that the backup has it.
Lauren, did you want to do something? I think you forgot to press the button or you're muted. I'm not sure what's going on.
Something like that. All right, here it comes.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna click on this button and we'll just add 2 to it. Okay.
Oh, the diplomacy? Why'd you roll
Oh,
diplomacy?
That's the wrong thing. I
That's
messed that up.
diplomacy.
That's the wrong roll. I'm sorry.
Well, it's still a +7,
Well-
so you rolled a 12.
Yeah, I'm gonna obviously hero point this.
Okay, good guess.
Okay.
Let's see. my curse of rolls. Why is this my life?
Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
Another 3.
Lauren!
This isn't fair. This isn't fair.
You rolled a 12. You don't generate any excitement. The crowd likes it, but you know there's something about it. It's a little off. Like your timing with the music's off. There's something not quite right. Try
All right.
again.
Well, I have one more, so I can roll another
You got
3.
two more. You got two more. You got 2 more attempts.
2 3s in a
Oh.
row. That's horrible.
Because you used the hero
please.
points, so.
I did
I
use a hero
know.
point.
Right, so you have 2 more 2 more tries.
All right, so the little fiery bird comes back to Hap, but it doesn't land in her hand. What it does is it goes behind her back and then starts orbiting her as if it was a moon. Hap continues her interpretive dance with her swirling and her mystical moves, and then she puts out a few more in rapid succession. Boom, 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 boom. More fiery birds that orbit her in a tight circle. Eventually, she thrusts her hands to the left, releases a first level spell, Burning Hands, and swishes it all the way around in front of her. And all of the fire from the Burning Hand spell turn into just hundreds of little fiery birds, which also orbit Hap in a spherical shape. She finally thrusts her hands up towards the heavens, and all of the birds fly off in all directions and disappear while she takes a bow. I'd like to make my second skill check, please.
Okay, here we go. Intimidation +4.
Oh, thank God.
Well, let's see. You rolled a +7, so that's really... Roll the 19 +4 is a 23. So you succeed at 2 excitement and no anticipation. So you're at exactly 20 anticipation, which could be a critical success, but I'm warning you, there's a price to be paid for fame. Yes, you will get double the payout, but your prestige is going to go up to 5 from a 1. So are you going to be able to live up to the excitement of your next show?
Yes.
I hope so, because
course.
I already took my bow.
Close the curtains.
Yes.
Okay, all right. She takes her bows, and it looks like the
Oh my
show is finally over. The crowd erupts in applause as they haven't seen a show like this, well, ever in their lives. And they are
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
they're all like screaming and yelling and throwing popcorn and confetti and other things from their seats, and the kids are screaming, and it's just a total mayhem as everyone is having a fantastic time. Because your final excitement was 20. Your final anticipation was 20. You gain 4 prestige for a critical success, so now you have 5 prestige. Hope you can make it, and then your total payout will be
42 gold pieces.
42 gold pieces. That goes to the circus. That goes to the
Okay.
I know, but still, we threw our first show and it was a hit. It was amazing. We critically succeeded. This sets a precedent. We're going to be amazing. We're going to be the best show on this island and all of the land around. We are just on fire because of Hap. Oh my gosh, you did amazing.
And
Are you
were
going to come out to
nervous.
the rings and take a bow or not?
Yes, of course.
Oh, bow. She puts her staff against a crate and then runs out to take her bow as she wipes blood from her nose.
Hap is crying profusely, but trying to keep her head lower so the audience doesn't see it.
That's okay. The black streaks make it cool.
Yeah.
I'll lift you up and hug you and spin you around and put you on my shoulders.
This is so good.
I'm seriously so excited. I am shaking over here. I'm so excited. That is so hard to do. It is so hard to crit these stupid circuses. And it's so exciting.
I've been thinking about that act for like a month now. How I wanted to do it.
It was wonderful.
You did a great job. However, you're now going to have more to live up to because your prestige has raised by 4 up to a 5. So you went from 1 to 5, which is...
We're legit.
Yeah, you are legit. The circus is a huge hit. Everyone is super excited. You all go out. You all take your bows. The crowd loves it. The mayor comes up and shakes all of your hands. Tells you that's the greatest show I think I've ever seen in my life. I don't even know what to tell you. It was fantastic. I tell you everything. The rampaging animals, the fire breathing, the strong man, that troll thing we saw. It was great. It was great. I tell you.
Well,
Well,
thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Alhara is too excited for words. She just sort of gets really shy all of a sudden.
But you've done this like 100 times.
I know, but this is an amazing show, and it was by ourselves out of the thumb of that horrible person.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This was my first show.
Oh, I wouldn't have guessed. You were all so excellent. This is incredible. You're going to be the biggest hit in Galarian if you keep this up. We're so proud that you honored us with your first show in our small little town. I'm very excited. Thank you so much. And you're so agile and so strong. And I'm duly impressed. We're just farmers here. As opposed to look at all this, and he's like looking at all of you, and he sees like everyone dancing around and bopping and juggling with fire and flexing their muscles, and he's just in awe for the whole thing.
Oh, but what about the ringmaster?
Yeah, I mean, we'll celebrate a little bit and bow when everyone starts to leave. Then we'll get backstage and see what's going on here.
Yes, the professor sort of is looking at all of you as this is all occurring. He brings you all backstage after people start leaving, and you can see he put him in a cart and covered up the ringmaster so that no one could, find out what happened. And in case there were some prying eyes, he wanted to get him out of the way. And he looks at you all and says, "Everyone did a great job, an excellent show. I can't believe we managed to pull that off, especially after such tragedy struck us here. I'm duly impressed. However, we have to figure out what happened, and everyone does appear to be on edge. The excitement of a successful show and the death of our ringmaster might be too much for everyone to bear. I suggest we all gather around the campfire tonight and try to take the edge off and relax a little before we do anything." And then he pulls you four over and wants to talk to you individually.
I nod and follow along.
Sure. As I said, Alhara gets sort of uncharacteristically shy all of a sudden, and she just sort of stands next to / behind Darius.
What's going on, Dad? I mean, besides Uncle Thunder and all.
He looks at the four of you. Well, it looks like you're the only ones that are able to keep it all together tonight. You helped with the show. You put out all the fires. You took care of the animals. You helped at Axel. I saw you take care of those snakes, the drunken brawlers, and everything else that was going on. You did a great job, kids. I'm real proud of you. But we need to find out what happened here. I don't know why or who would kill Myron. Everyone loved him. There's something going on. I know some of you have some experience with medical knowledge. If you want to examine the body or try to figure out what happened to him.
Yes.
It's obviously he was murdered. But who or why? I doubt anyone in the circus did it, but I'm going to put you four in charge of this, because I know I can trust you. You're practically family, and I can't imagine there was any reason why you would do it. Plus, you were near me the whole time, so I can't imagine that you did anything. To be honest, I doubt anyone in the circus actually was responsible, just because they were all sort of in the same place. And as you know, Myron used to like to spend a little time outside the tent and prepare mentally before the show, away from everyone. So it really was a perfect opportunity to kill him while he was away from all of us. So I seriously doubt it was anyone in the show, but, you might want to ask around, see what you can find out.
Don't worry, Dad. We'll get to the bottom of this.
I know that from our first look at him, we figured out it was some kind of poison.
Well, we didn't really have time before, but if you want to look now,
yes.
It brings you over to the body where he covered him up, because now you have a little bit more time. I think you can look and see what you can discover.
All right, I'll take a look.
So you go over to his body, and sure enough, his legs appear to be incredibly swollen, so much so that they're practically bursting out of his boots at this point, and they're horribly discolored. The rest of him just looks, it definitely looks like he's turning kind of a shade of purple. I mean, you don't know a lot about death, but you do know that this is kind of bizarre, that usually they don't turn these type of colors so soon after they die.
I mean, I would, remove the shoes and everything and look for like a snake bite or some sort of entry wound.
Did we check to see if he was eating turnip soup?
Oh, no.
Oh, no. No turnips.
In the start of every campaign, deadly turnips.
Can I think of a poison that would do this quickly and have these effects?
Sure, you can give me a medicine or nature check would work, or even survival.
Craft alchemy?
Nature?
That makes sense.
Medicine? You could try alchemy.
I'll roll nature.
I mean, you could roll anything. I mean, heck, I'd even let you roll like athletics if you wanted. Hap rolls a 21. Hap speaks up and says, and crafting. Wow. Crafting a 14.
Wow.
I was just thinking because Alteron knows a lot about alchemy and alchemical crafting.
Yeah, this doesn't really fall into any of that patterns, but Hap actually knows. And she puts 2 to 2 together, and she realized that if she thinks those vipers that were under the stand, she thinks those are the same ones that bit him. And sure enough, on his legs, you see some small marks, and you can tell that he was bitten on the legs, and it was the viper poison from just regular old vipers, and it can kill you. And sure enough, it did. It killed him.
Why wouldn't he have told us? Why wouldn't he have said anything?
We could have helped him.
It's extremely fast acting. It can kill you within 24 seconds.
Okay.
It can kill you within 6 seconds if you have a bad fortitude.
So there might have been vipers out in the center ring.
Well,
Hmm.
you know he was behind the tent, and he probably was killed right outside the tent where you found the body. And obviously there was vipers underneath the bleachers. There was 3 of them, if you remember, that weren't really causing anyone any trouble.
I do.
So Hap believes those are the same vipers that could have bit him.
Did we get fingerprints off those vipers?
It could have just been a terrible accident.
I wonder if he hurt himself on the way in and thought it was just a steak bite. You know, from some of these old steaks.
Yeah, he could have think it was a steak bite and not a snake bite, which are 2 totally different things.
Tent steaks.
I imagine the pain would have been excruciating. I don't think he would have associated with such.
I don't want to think about that.
Hap also knows something else, as you are a lover of animals, that these type of vipers really have no use for attacking humans. As you notice that they really didn't want anything to do with you. They were just trying to find somewhere warm to sleep. So unless they were provoked or something else, they probably wouldn't have attacked him. And Myron was not a fool. He was a pretty smart fellow. He wasn't someone to go around kicking vipers and looking for trouble. So unless he was extremely unlucky or something else occurred.
Someone must have trained it to bite him.
I mean, it's easy to accidentally step next to one and get bit.
That is true.
Step on its tail, make it angry by accident.
I assume Hap tells us all this?
All of it.
Thanks.
In addition, the professor is looking at this, watching you all, and says, "Interesting. This is very unusual for snakes. Perhaps you should look where he was attacked. Maybe you can see if there was a shuffle or something else. Maybe you can see if there was some altercation and figure out if he was actually attacked or was trying to fend off or running from the snakes. It could just been an accident."
Where did you find the body?
He walks outside, and it's just a little bit outside the tent, maybe 15, 20 feet outside. He goes, "Right over here." Tried to keep the area fairly clean.
Is it dark now?
Yeah, it's dark.
I'll hold a torch, which is my hand.
Sneaky. Okay, you hold your hand torch, and you can see. There's also a fair amount of light coming from the main camp, which is south of you, as there's a huge bonfire that's been set up as everyone is getting ready to sort of have a dinner and drink and prepare after the show. So he shows you where where he was found. What do you wish to do?
Well, I guess we'll look around, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
That is the good old perception check or survival, either one.
I'll go with perception.
Okay.
Ooh.
Ooh, 23. That was a really good. Hap gets a 14. Not quite as good. Darius gets a 22.
Acheron, do you have a +5 also? Do we all have +5s on perception?
No, he has a +3. But he rolls a
Aw,
21.
well.
I mean, he rolls really well. Well, everyone except Hap finds
Womp womp.
something really strange. They notice tons of little tracks, little itty-bitty footprints that are all over Myron's body. And now Hap sees the prints. The rest of you think it's perhaps some small rodent or something. You're not exactly sure, but anyone with nature would probably be able to figure out what they are. But it looks like they're mice or rat tracks or something, some rodent of some sort, which is weird. Just like, why was his body surrounded by rats?
Am I the only one with nature?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Let's roll nature. Yeah! This is what I'm good at, is rolling nature. I can't roll anything
23.
else, though.
You rolled an 18. You're doing great.
That's what I'm saying. I can roll nature. That's about it.
Okay. The area immediately around where Myron's body was found, you sure enough find tons of rat tracks, little prints of rats. And unfortunately, these rat tracks hide any other footprints that might have been here. In fact, you don't even see snake prints or snake slithering, if you will. So you think this is very unusual, that these rats were perhaps purposely used to cover the tracks.
Guys, there were rats here. And I don't mean like a few rats. There were a lot of rats, enough to cover any other tracks that would have been here.
Do we know someone who can command rats? That sounds
Very specific.
I was going to bring up Elysia, considering her talents with the various vipers, but rats? That I don't know. No.
I like the way Atron goes, no. That's my favorite thing about the character.
Thank you.
So do we know anyone maybe in the circus biz who can command a bunch of rats and or vipers?
Was there anyone at the Celestial Menagerie that was fond of rats?
Not off the top of your head. I mean, there's lots of animal acts, but rats is not something you would use because they're too small. This isn't a flea circus. You would need big animals like lions, tigers, elephants, gigantic snakes. Something as small as rats, that really wouldn't cut it.
Do you think we should follow the rat tracks?
Perhaps.
Let me go tell Dad what we're doing. I'll be right back.
Atheron's brow would narrow, and they would say, I'm somewhat curious if there are druids in the local area who perhaps could be involved.
What beef would they have with the ringmaster? They do not like circuses in general? Then we'd all be targeted, not just him.
Perhaps. Or perhaps just one angry druid.
Then again, rats, something gnawed at the nets for the acrobats.
Yes.
Yeah, rats it looked like.
This was maybe not just an isolated killing. It was the murder of the ringleader, chewing of the nets, releasing of the animals. Something is pointing to complete and total
Druids of talent have
sabotage.
power with shape-shifting, with the natural diseases, like the pox that you spoke of that the birds and Mr. Tickles had, let alone the incited animals, vipers coming in, rats covering tracks. It makes me suspicious.
Rats chewing nuts?
Yes, the nets were chewed by rats. That's why they went without a net.
It's all very specific.
I'm gonna run inside and run up to Professor Zarlin. Hey, Dad, we found a bunch of weird rat tracks, and I think we're gonna follow them. Okay?
Rats, That is odd. No one I know can control rats. Why would there be rats around him? He looks around, he goes, maybe a few, sure. I mean, we're near the woods, but he kind of looks down and sees where they are. He goes, there's dozens, maybe even 100. This is very, very bizarre.
Yeah, that's what we thought too, so we're gonna follow him, if that's okay?
Sure. Here, let's go to the camp for a second.
You've been listening to Roll for Combat 3-Ring Adventure, a Pathfinder actual play podcast. If you have a question or comment for the show, please visit us at rollforcombat.com. You can also find us and play various games on our Discord channel at discord.rollforcombat.com. You've been listening to Roll for Combat. Until next week, always remember that putting a portable hole inside a bag of holding voids the warranty on both.